those as we get through the roll call. Hopefully, those that are coming in to join us can do at that time, and then also add themselves to the roll call. So, with that, Denise, do you mind calling on individuals? I just want to note as well that when you're doing the roll call, if you can just state your name, whether you're a commissioner, and also where you are coming from in Ann Arbor today. Also, just want to remind everyone that if you are not speaking during the meeting, to please mute your microphone so that everyone can be heard effectively. Also, just want to note that this meeting, can be viewed on the community television network, and they can watch online at a2gov.org/watchctn. And if anyone watching would like to have public comment, they can call toll free at 877-853-5247 or 888-788-0099. All right, with that, Denise, if you don't mind calling on individuals for the roll call, please.
Sure, no problem. Commissioner Poster, absent. Commissioner Hawkins, I see you. Present. Chair Damon.
Yes, hi, this is Zach Damon. I'm the chairman, and I'm coming from Washtenaw County, Ann Arbor, Michigan today.
Okay, I'll go back to Commissioner Hawkins.
Hi, Rachel Hawkins, coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan as well.
Thank you. Commissioner Solomon.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner, Ann Arbor, Michigan, USA.
Commissioner Mozak.
Yes, Commissioner Kathleen Mozak calling in from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Vice Chair Keeler. I see you.
Yeah, he must still be on mute.
Okay, I'm asking you to unmute. Okay, I will come back. Commissioner Gossett.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner, well, I had to call back in. Commissioner
okay.
Keeler, west side of Ann Arbor.
Thank you. Commissioner Gossett.
Good afternoon, Alex Gossage, Commissioner from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you. Council Member Nelson is not here, is absent. Commissioner Button is absent, and Commissioner Allen Pipkin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Commissioner Christiana Allen Pipkin here, calling in from Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Okay, we have a quorum.
All right, wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, as always, for taking the time. So next, we have the approval of today's agenda. I wasn't sure if anybody had anything to say about the agenda. If there is, please mention it at this time. If not, I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Larry seconds. All in favor of approving today's agenda, just please unmute if you can and say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, wonderful. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. And in today's agenda, we have 2 meeting minutes to approve. As the last meeting, I don't think we were at a full quorum, so we've got a couple of them. They, are in there for our viewing ability, and so I didn't know if there was any commissioners that had any objections to the September and/or October minutes. But what I'd like to do, if possible, is to get a motion to approve both the September and October meeting minutes and go from there. So does anyone want to make a motion, or I can do that?
I'll move to approve both sets of minutes.
Okay, I will second that, Larry. All in favor of approving both the September and October meeting minutes for the Commission on Disability Issues, please unmute and say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. All right. Next on the agenda, we have our public comment section. So I wasn't sure, Denise, if we had anybody who had called in at this time to do any public comment.
No, I don't have anyone presently.
Okay, thank you. So we can move on to our special presentations portion of today's meeting. So first and foremost, I would like to give a big thank you and also big Commission on Disability Issues welcome to Laura Orta, the Director of Organizational Equity with the City of Ann Arbor. And I am very, very excited to have you. So Laura, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for reaching out.
Absolutely. Do you have anything that you kind of wanted to communicate to the commission at this time? I know you're kind of, new to the role in terms of the city and getting acclimated, but, please, if you don't mind, just give us maybe some goals that you have in mind, things that you're looking forward to, and, anything else you'd like to mention.
Absolutely. And I'm terrible at this, so please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Talking about me is one of the hardest things for me to do. So I am Laura Orta. My pronouns are they, him, and here. I grew up in Michigan and have lived all around the world and am back in Michigan. So excited to be a part of the city of Ann Arbor. To me, the city of Ann Arbor is the gold standard city from around the world. Just having seen all other possible examples, I think Ann Arbor is one of the greatest cities that we have in the world. I was hired because there was no one strong rolled individual doing diversity, equity, inclusion, access and accessibility, justice, what I call DEIAJ plus, because we continue to change the language and grow it. I come from a trauma-informed place in my DEI work. I identify as an individual with multiple diverse abilities. So using academic terminology there, right, that I'm happy to not use if it is something that is not appropriate to all of you, but that is a much more encompassing term of, neurodiverse, physically diverse, all the other types of ways that our bodies can present in this world. I am currently doing an assessment of the interior of the city of Ann Arbor, right? If our employees and the way that we do things within the service to the city of Ann Arbor is not equitable and is not as up to date on current language and practices, and always keeping that open mindset to learn more, then how can we say we are best serving our public? So doing a whole overview of it, looking forward to rolling out plans and steps and things. I do a lot of training. I'm a former professor at multiple universities, as well as accreditation and assessment worker. So I've worn a lot of hats because, probably like a lot of you, I had to be adaptable and so that I could afford to pay my rent and put food on the table. And so I've learned a lot of really different skills and bring them all together with cultural humility to be in this role. I am multiracial, although I'm very white presenting. And I'm very aware of what my white presentation does for me. And I use that to make certain I am making space for everyone. Anything else you'd like to know?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I was just going to open it up to questions. And so it seems like there's some hand raised. I see Commissioner Solomon with a question. So, yeah, Laura, if you don't mind answering just a couple of questions from our commissioners, that would be wonderful. Denise, do you mind just calling on those that have their hand raised?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think that's me. Laura, nice to meet you. I have a couple questions, less about you than about the position and what its scope is. We've had continuing conversations with the city about an ADA coordinator, the need for that. It's unclear to me from your presentation, what your parameters are, what your charge is, what your scope is. Could you talk to us a little bit about that? And particularly, I'm thinking, I still believe there's a need for an ADA coordinator as well. So where would your duties stop and let's say another position yet to be filled take up? And then I have another question, but first I'd love to hear more about the position itself.
Thank you for the one question at a time. I appreciate it greatly. So as Director of Organizational Equity, my scope is both internal and external in Ann Arbor. It is making certain that internally we are approaching everything with an equitable lens and being as equitable as possible. It is also embracing the community and working with them. The ADA coordinator is one of my first things that I hope to get done. We are in the process of preparing budgets for the next 2 years, and that position specifically has already been desired by the city, and I'm hoping that it will come to fruition and we will have someone no later than early fall 23. That seems like a long time, and it is, but there's definitely, I've got a base job description written up that I will absolutely encourage all of you to give feedback on, and just kind of, I have no real parameters outside of I work for the city. And so the city of Ann Arbor is where a lot of my focus is, but I also, know how closely Washtenaw County ties Ypsilanti and, Scioto Township and all those other areas in with what happens. So it's not as if I stop at a border. I'm working with, talking with my counterparts in the county of Washtenaw County itself. And the job description was left very basic because they being the city, aren't sure of how much they need, where they need it, what's needed. And that's, why I'm doing the analysis of the whole institution. And I try not to put borders or parameters around the work, because in this field, it changes so greatly. The city had done a living wage update before I got there, and that impacts so many other areas of an individual's identity. I hope I'm not answering this in some political way, and you understand that it's really just, Laura, come and shape this job. And that's one of the skills that I have. I have had more than 15 jobs where I've been the first person to fill a role and really, say this is what's needed and here's what needs to go. But absolutely an ADA coordinator, I believe I can freely tell you that it is a high priority, not just for me in my upcoming budgets, but it was also one of the first things that I was told, yes, this is something we're intentional about and need.
So that open job description I find very encouraging. So, and again, I hope that we will have a close working relationship, the commission and you, and that we'll be in very frequent contact, because I think that's important from our point of view to feel that our voice connects to what's going on in the city. And we've been looking for a suitable liaison for years, frankly. The thing that I would just, less a question, more of a comment is, this city takes so much pride in being a bike-friendly city, and that is such an ableist mode of transportation. And every time I pass through the city, I am reminded of how ableist this city with pride is. And I find that troubling as a person with a disability. I'd like to see it dialed back. I'd like to see it addressed. And I say it every time somebody from the city of Ann Arbor is in this space, but I can't get from point A to point B, but without being reminded of how great bicycling is. And, that's just not an inclusive mode of transportation necessarily. So,
yeah. Ann Arbor certainly is steeped in a lot of privilege, and talking about it and working on how to break down that privilege and be more inclusive is one of the things that I hope to do. And I agree 100%. A little personal, my mother had a neurological disease that eventually killed her and was a wheelchair user most of my life. And so I understand the perspective of the ableist, yay, let's all go biking and let's spray paint it on the ground, and how impactful that is, and how hard it is to get around Ann Arbor and shop if you are diversely able physically or in other ways. It's not a city that it was laid out for that. Thank you.
Commissioner Gossage.
Hi, this is Alex. Glad you were able to join us today. I just have a real simple question, which is, I realize that you're incredibly new to your position, but what is the best way for us or anybody to reach out to you at this point to connect?
I would say my email, which is lorta@a2gov.org.
Okay.
And yeah, shoot me emails. I'm a 48-hour turnarounder, or try to be, unless I'm out of the office, which you can get a message if I was. And I even just to say, hey, I got your email, and it's something that I'm adding to my list. And, Commissioner Solomon, I'd love to hear your suggestions, or this whole committee's suggestions, on ways that we can change this narrative to be more inclusive in the community. I am looking forward to being the voice in the city to help make changes.
All right. Thank you. That was my only question.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And, Ms. Orta, thank you just for, again, your openness, your willingness to include the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues, not only with the formation of the city ADA coordinator position, but also in other matters of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And like other commissioners have stated, we definitely look forward to being a very solid partner with you going forward.
Awesome. And to let you know, no judgment. It's Mix Orta. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. It's something that, the more that we talk about and practice, the more inclusive we all get. So no need to apologize.
I will definitely keep that in mind going forward. All right. With that, does anybody have any more questions for Laura going forward, or can we move on to the other presentations? All right. Well, I'd like to move on to the other presentations. I'd like to move on to the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled with the always informative Katie Monkevich.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you all today. I just have a couple of things going on at the library to let you know about. We have some events coming up here. The first one I'm going to tell you about is an author event with Ken McGee. He wrote The Ultimate Michigan Football Program and Ticket Guide. This event's on Friday, November 8th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Mallett's Creek branch. Local historian and collector of Michigan memorabilia, Ken McGee, is going to present his coffee table book. It's co-authored with Brian Snyder, and this guide contains over 2,500 color photographs of every University of Michigan football game day program and ticket stub known to exist, game summaries of every Michigan football game since the first game in 1879, and an introductory letter written by former President Gerald Ford. This presentation will feature numerous images that illustrate the way football has been intertwined with American history over the last century, including the World Wars, Lindbergh Flight, JFK assassination, and 9/11. Ken will also tell the story of the 30 plus years it took to complete this one-of-a-kind collection. Reviews have described this book as a sports masterpiece and one of the most unique books written in the history of all sports books. This event includes a signing with books available for sale. Our next event will be on AADL TV. It's the Indigilit Book Club. This is an AADL staff discussion of The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. This is on Tuesday, November 29th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. This is a discussion series. It celebrates Native American authors and books across genres, time, and across the continent. This month, we'll be joining AADL staff for a discussion of The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. This discussion is facilitated by Ariel Ojibwe. Ariel loves to be a part of sharing stories, and it makes her hopeful that the telling of the stories of stolen land, stolen people, and stolen histories is louder now than when she was young. She believes stories can lead our world back to the right path. Ariel is a member of the Sault Ste. Marie Band of Chippewa Indians. We also have a concert coming up. This is the Musique Noire in Performance. It will be Sunday, December 11th from 1 to 2 p.m. at the Downtown Library in our lobby. Join Musique Noire, the award-winning Motor City String Quartet, for a live concert of their unique world fusion arrangements, incorporating elements of Spain, Africa, India, and the Middle East, as well as jazz, blues, and funk. Musique Noire is led by violinist and flautist Michelle May, a 2018 Detroit Kresge Artist Fellow. The members of Musique Noire are veteran players nationally and internationally, having performed with high-profile artists such as Stevie Wonder, KEM, Aretha Franklin, El DeBarge, and Frank McComb, among many others. Just a reminder about materials. Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Print Disabled patrons can order digital cartridges and other materials by calling 734-327-4224 or email us at wlbpd@aadl.org. Always feel free to sign up for the Braille and audio reading service, BARD, on your own at nlsbard.loc.gov, or give us a call and we can help you with the application over the phone. There are some books that I'm going to talk about that you can find on BARD. The one I was talking about earlier that we'll be discussing, The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. 1953, Chippewa Council member Thomas Washash tries to balance the demands of his job as a night watchman at the new jewel-bearing plant outside the Turtle Mountain Reservation and monitoring the consequences of the bill purporting emancipation for Native American tribes wending its way through Congress. We also have the Mayo Clinic on osteoporosis. Keep your bones strong and reduce your risk of fractures by Ann Kearns. No matter your age or bone health, you can take steps to prevent future breaks. The best time to start is now. In this book, you'll find clear, practical information on factors that affect your risk of osteoporosis, bone density tests to detect weak bones before a break, treatments to help stop bone loss and encourage new bone growth, the best food and nutrients for strong bones, ways to reduce your risk of fractures and falls, exercise for building bone, and some to avoid with low bone mass, and more. And finally, the Handbook for Bad Days, Shortcuts to Get Present When Things Aren't Perfect by Eveline Helmink. Keep your head held high, even on the bad days, with 70 mindful self-care strategies to find happiness. The Handbook for Bad Days is the ultimate guide for anyone who strives to be present, not perfect. The Handbook for Bad Days is a call to face our worst days with courage and intentionality. And that is all I have for y'all today. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Yes, Vice Chair Keeler's hand is raised.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah, two things.
Yeah.
One, you said that, you did say that the sports thing, the review of the sports book and the book sale was on November 8th. Did you mean the 18th?
I did. I meant the 18th.
Okay, I just
Good
wanted to
catch.
clarify that because you said November 8th. I'm like, we missed it.
Try not
And
to
the
tell you
second
about
thing
past events. Sorry.
That's right. And the second thing is, I think I've read a fair amount of Native American literature, and I think Louise pronounces her last name Erdich.
Erdich. Thank you. I was actually wondering about that.
Yeah.
Like right before I started talking, I usually check. So I appreciate the correction.
Okay, but they both sound interesting, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Larry.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for Katie at this time? All right. If not, Katie, as usual, amazing things. All sounds wonderful. And again, feel free for all of you viewing this meeting to visit the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled. And thank you very much, Katie.
You're very welcome. Thanks as always for having me. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right. Next on our presentations, we have the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living and Miss Joyce Blair.
This is Joyce. Good evening, everyone. I would like to announce that all of the events that I'm going to tell you about are available on our calendar at the Ann Arbor CIL website, and that is annarborcil.org. The phone number is 734-971-0277. First, I'd like to announce that tomorrow there is a community appreciation luncheon. There are still a few openings, and if you are interested in attending, you can call the number for the center. There's a couple of walk-in slots available. Our Spirit Club, which is an adaptable fitness class, meets on Mondays and Wednesdays, 4:00 p.m. And it's adaptable fitness, so they meet people where they are. It's a fun online virtual exercise class. Tomorrow there is, that class will take place from 4 to 5:00 p.m. And there's also, on Friday, there's an Oreo cookie club. It's organized recreational eating for people to make community connections. Next week, the CIL will be closed on Thanksgiving and the day after, the Fall Harvest Festival and the day after. So on Monday, 11/21, there will be fitness club. Just a moment, please. Monday, there will be fitness club and there will also be art. So there's in-person art on Monday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. And that is in person in what we call the art gallery at the CIL. Just a moment. The CIL does have a Caring Connections parent support group for parents that are that have disabilities and are parenting kids. And that is a really wonderful group. On Tuesdays, we have Trivia Tuesdays, where we talk about trivia from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. And again, on Tuesday, there is a Trivia Tuesdays plus the art class plus Caring Connections. And then on Fridays, there's a virtual movie club from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. And again, for all of these activities, please contact the center. Does anybody have any questions for me? Thank you.
Wonderful things. Thank you so much, Joyce, and to everyone at the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living for all the great things that you're offering. And yes, I do hope everyone can have an opportunity to visit the center and one of their wonderful activities that they offer. Thank you so much. All right, next we have the Partners and Access Committee Community Engagement Report. That's with Alex Gossage and Rachel Hawkins.
Okay, Rachel, I'll be real quick if you're okay with me going first.
Sure.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So Larry and I did meet just a week ago. Time just does not feel like it has any meaning anymore. I can never tell how long anything is away. But we met about a week ago. In my other role as part of the CIL, there was a concern raised with some curb cuts that were recently installed. And we'll be talking about that more in the new business, but that was kind of the main discussion that Larry and I had regarding that and what possible remedies there might be, at least as far as the commission goes. But I can talk more about that in the new business.
All right, thank you, Alex. I do appreciate that, and yes, we'll talk about that other item as well. All right, and then how about community engagement, Rachel?
So I don't have anything further to add. I didn't get an update email from them this week. They usually send it a day or two before for Ann Arbor Inclusive. So I don't have an update from them on what their shows are that they're planning coming up, but I will email that to you once I have that confirmed.
Hey, no problem. And thank you, Rachel. I do appreciate all of your efforts with community engagement and Ann Arbor Inclusive. So, best to the Community Television Network and Tom Hoatland, Linda Evans, and all involved with that there. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sure. Moving on, we have recruiting activity, Mr. Larry Keeler.
I have heard nothing since last month. I've had a busy month, but I still haven't heard anything. And the last thing we had Mr. Portugal on last month, and I haven't heard whether he's going to be interested or what's going on there. But I did, Denise. You could send me some more applications if you have them, and we are always open. You can find your forms at a2.gov commissions and boards. I think there's a form for signing up for commissions there. And I'd like to see some applications come in so I can start calling around. Thank you.
Sure thing. And don't go very far, Larry, because next up we have...
I'm here.
That's right. We have the Transportation Commission update with Larry Keeler.
Oh, I don't have much. The things in there in there too, but they were there was a debate over the 7th Street and Greenwood project, whether to amend the project or not, because there was some issues with widening the bike lanes in the street down there, or whether they should do that. And they had measurements that they wanted to take care of. It was approved, but it wasn't rescinded. And then they had a guy who was explaining what Watts was all about for the transportation funding, and how the federal funding gets in collaboration with the city funding around here. And then it was given to that the funding is given to the transportation centers to distribute amongst the various areas in our area that need the funding. And it went into a lot of budgeting and funding and how it all works.
Got it.
And how and they say they just get the projects out the door. We do the communities do the rest of them. And then there's just a couple updates about narrowing Hill Street, narrowing driving lanes and widening bike paths. And they want to install buffers all over the place. They also want to reduce parking in a lot of the areas. And basically the same thing they've been doing for the last few months.
All right.
So that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. Definitely appreciate that report. And yeah, thank you so much. Next, we have the U of M Council for Disability Concerns meeting update.
Hello, everyone. So we did meet November 11th. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so the meeting itself was a very short meeting. Usually we have speakers lined up. For some reason in November, we did not. So we had some interesting discussions. The first thing was we had a debrief of our October events, most notably the Toward an Anti-Ableist Academy that was partnered with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. There will be videos available on the conference website soon. And in your packet is, Denise has been very kind to provide the November meeting minutes, and there are links for all of the things that I'm going to mention so that you can go there directly yourselves. The other thing we discussed was the Neubacher Award, which happened at the beginning of November. The award winner was Jill Sklar, and you can read all about her and her work in the disability community on the website as well. There is a link. And they have also decided to start looking for Neubacher Awards early while it's fresh on everybody's mind. Usually call outs for the Neubacher Award don't typically go out until spring, early summer, but they've decided to start the kickoff now. So if you have somebody fresh in mind after being inspired by looking at who our current Neubacher Award winner, as well as all the honorable mentions are, and you think, hey, I know about somebody, you don't have to hold on to that. You can go right to the nominating website and nominate that person now. Finally, the final discussion was centered around our current CFDC meetings. Prior to the pandemic, we were one of the few groups that actually had hybrid meetings that we were able to accomplish. And so the discussion was, do we go back to hybrid meetings or do we continue to remain on Zoom? And so there was a lot of discussion, but there were no decisions made. And our next meeting will be December. One moment, please. It will be, Tuesday, December 13th at 12 o'clock via Zoom. Thank you, everyone.
Kathleen, just one quick question for you.
Yes.
For the viewers in terms of the Neubacher Award. Do they have to be Is it something where they have to be a U of M student in order to receive that award?
I believe, I don't want to swear. It doesn't have to be a student. It could be a student. It could be a faculty member, somebody who works, as staff, that sort of thing. I don't know if it's open to the broader community. I think they have to have some sort of tie to the university, but I don't want to say that for sure. If they want more detailed information about who is eligible for the Newbacher Award, that information will be on the website, but I see Rachel has her hand up, so maybe she has an answer.
I believe they also count alums in that. So if you're an alum of the University of Michigan, even if you don't work there now, you would count as someone who could be nominated for the Newbacher Award.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. All right. We'll definitely appreciate all of the efforts there. And again, just pointing it out too, that there is a vacancy that we would like to fill with the U of M Council for Disability Concerns. I will touch more on that during the chair report. Next, we have the city personnel report with Denise.
Good afternoon. Personnel, the city of Ann Arbor is welcoming Aaron Bohlmeyer, Public Works Technician, Trevor Biden, Engineering Transportation Program Manager, Trayvon Calvin Curtis, Police Officer, Charlene Glenn, 15th District Court Clerk, Sharonda Gloucester, Sustainability and Innovation Management Assistant, Scott Hankin, Water Treatment Service, Water Utility Technician, Keith Cooperman, Parks and Recreation, Community Service Technician, Parks and Public Space Manager. Chelsea Klukham, Human Resources Compensation Supervisor. Anna Litch, Engineering, Civil Engineering. Kathleen Mayo, Building and Rental Services, Administrative Assistant. Morgan Parker, Police Service Specialist Cadet. Logan Pectel, Police Service Specialist Cadet. Martha Rocker, Water Treatment Services, Water Utility Technician. Gregory Screnger, Building and Rental Services, Development Services Inspector. David Thompson, Accounting Services, Accounting. Kathleen Trilla, Police Management Assistant. Brandon Worth, Police Officer. A retirement farewell to Laura Hill, 15th District Court Records Special Coordinator. That's it.
Wow, a lot of new staff coming in. So welcome to all of those and those new cadets and all the new people with water treatment and all of those different positions. Welcome to them, and to the one retiree, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Denise. All right. In the chair report, that is the section of the meeting that we're at this point. Just wanted to point out a few things. First one being again that we're looking to set up and finalize that spot for the U of M Council for Disability Concerns. As you know, our wonderful Commissioner Kathleen, she'll continue to be a commissioner, but with so much on her plate that she does for our community, we just need to have someone else in place for that. So just announcing it here for all of you, if there's interest in being the U of M Council for Disability Concerns liaison for the Commission on Disability Issues, please feel free to reach out to myself and or Denise so that we can connect you with Kathleen to kind of know what the processes are and the next steps on that. Next, for the chair report, just wanted to bring up that there's a very interesting conference I found out about. Now, not sure. I know it's going to be offered in person this year and also virtually, but was not sure, whether it's, something that any of you would want to attend, but I tell you what, it's the Disability Policy Seminar, and that's going to be March 20th through 22nd. And that's going to be held at the Renaissance Downtown Hotel in the District of Washington. And very, very interesting seminar, very exciting. And, just wanted to bring that to your attention, that there's a lot of great, disability events that go on, not just in our city and the surrounding areas, but all around the country. So I'll be sending some more information on that just to clue you guys in and keep you informed. Going forward, other than that, that is all that I have right now for the chair report. All right. Now, let's see where I am. Okay. So next, we're moving on to old business. Didn't know if there was anything under old business for right now. It doesn't look like there is. So with that, I'll move to new business. Under there, we have discussion on the neighborhood crosswalk design. So is there anybody else on the commission that wants to touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, this is Alex. I think Larry and I can talk about that in a little more detail. Putting on my Center for Independent Living hat for a moment, a couple of weeks ago, Council Member Briggs reached out to me with some questions regarding a newly installed curb cut at an intersection at Arbor View and Wesley. And if I'm able to share my screen, I will bring up the pictures. Had some questions if there was any concerns that I had with how they were installed, and if there's anything that should be considered, wanting to make sure that they're compliant with ADA, but also if they are compliant with ADA, are they also a best practice? Because as we all know, just because something is compliant with the ADA, it does not mean that it's accessible or as accessible as it could or should be. So I'll just try to describe these pictures as best as I can and talk a little bit about my concern and why I wanted to bring it to this group to talk about some more. At Arborview and Wesley, they have installed these curved curb cuts at the intersection. My concern being, especially for individuals who are blind or individuals with low vision, is that I'm concerned that the curb cuts themselves do not provide enough information to tell you that the intersection is directly across the street. And I'm concerned that individuals could be led to think that when they're going over the tactile bumps, that they need to change direction, and that would put them right in the middle of that intersection. I did reach out to some folks that I know at ADA Michigan. They told me that it was compliant with ADA, but a best practice would be for something to have kind of a more structure to it in terms of it's leading you straight forward versus having some of this additional turn here. I think the second picture here is just a much closer close-up of it. As you'll see with the curve, they kind of took 2 tactile pads or 3 tactile pads and kind of smushed them all together to make them fit. And then as you see with looking outwards, some of those tactile pads, again, are leading into the intersection. I think there's one other picture. It doesn't show a whole lot more information. This is just taken from across the road. So I wanted to share this with the commission. I thought that while the CIL can definitely respond and express their concerns, this seemed like a good topic to share with the commission. And possibly if folks are in agreement, maybe we could craft a resolution or craft a statement to share back with City Council, asking them to look at, in addition to making sure that things are ADA compliant, remain legal and within the law, that they also look at best practices when they are installing things like curb cuts, doing other construction work in the area that is related to the ADA. I saw Larry is raising his hand, so I will stop talking for a moment and let him put his 2 cents in.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex. I agree with that because a lot of those curb cuts, when they're set out there, we, at least us people with visual issues, we line up with the curb, we cross, and if the curbs aren't lined up, or if we start from the wrong place, we'll end up either in the middle of a street or whatever. This place that Alex is talking about has no traffic, and it doesn't always appear to have traffic to line up against. So I think that I agree with the if we can get a resolution or talk to and maybe talk to one of the council people or get our new council liaison and see maybe we can put a resolution to use not only ADA but best practices and be able to put our concerns in for that. There's the other comment I'll make is just a fun one. Dogs can actually do that crooked curb thing, but not all of us have those. So when I had Holly, she could do those crooked curb things. We could go at roundabouts and everything, but now that I don't have her, I can see crossing over there and getting lost in the middle of the intersection and trying to find the other side and ended up in the wrong place about 80% of the time. Thank you.
And I think, and I know Zach, you have your hand raised, but just to add real quick, Larry had mentioned to me a piece that I thought was really important was, he, for example, uses a lot of sound cues, traffic cues. So that works, or that could work and assist him if he's in a highly trafficked area, let's say on Washtenaw or downtown on Main Street. But this isn't a residential area where we're probably not having consistent traffic on a regular basis to assist with providing that additional information. So those cues are not there in this instance.
Yeah, that's correct. You don't have anything to line up against if you don't have a stream of traffic on one side. And this sounds like a residential area where you might have to wait a few minutes or something to hear a car coming and try to line up. So that's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick comment. First of all, I completely agree, Alex and Larry. Thank you for bringing this to the commission's attention. I think, you're exactly right. Those notifications need to be there within that project. And, I guess the real question that I have going forward is, when these are presented, why are we not necessarily informed? And so, I'll kind of, find out what the best connection would be in terms of, okay, well, you guys are doing some construction on, curb cuts or curbs. So, hey, do you want to present that, construction to the commission before that work begins, or kind of finding out who the contact point, is for those specific projects, I think would be helpful going forward, because I feel like, I think rather, that typically this tends to happen, right? The project is already done, and then we notice these things, and then we're sort of going back, talking to the city, going, well, you've done this work, but now you have to go back and do these additional steps. Whereas, if we were kind of consulted in the beginning of that particular project, that could have been avoided, in my opinion.
Maybe that's something Miss Orley should be able to do. To be a connection to us, and I don't know how that's going to work exactly. Maybe that's what the ADA coordinator will have to do is when we get one, is proportion out any of the concerns to us to talk about and to talk about with them. But right now, you're right. There's no real place to go, and right. We do tend to be one of the last ones.
Well, and I'm optimistic, Vice Chairman, that'll continue to change. I mean, with the great commissioners that we have here doing the work and all the great people that we have on the forefront of what's going on, especially again with our new liaison coming in, I think there's a lot of good coming. But I do agree with you. I did see a couple of hands raised, so I just wanted to get to those to be efficient on time here. So Matthew, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I think Larry alluded to this. Is this an area where Laura Orta could play a role so that we're not always the last to know. This could have been avoided in a very efficient way had we simply been consulted. And again, this is because Laura Orta is with us right now. That was my question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Am I able to, could I revert that to you, Laura? Do you mind? Do you feel comfortable giving a statement on that?
So right now, my best statement is I don't know. I definitely will ask around and about and get back with Zach, let you know. I know 100% that's what the ADA person would be doing, right? Is being in the meetings and advocating and things like that with input from you and the community. So is it in the scope of my area? Absolutely, to find out what's going on and what's happening and how we can address best practices equitably.
Yeah, just following up, I think one of the things that emerged from the conference that Kathleen was speaking about is we need to be moving beyond compliance. We need to be in a best practices zone. And so I'm really grateful for Alex for alerting us to this. This might be compliant, but this is not best practices. So I think there needs to be some reminder. I'm looking forward to some further liaison with City Council, hopefully as active as our last liaison. But this to me is a very important issue, moving beyond compliance.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Any other comments or questions on what Alex has brought about or with the response from Laura? Okay. Well, go ahead, Alex.
I guess my question is, Zach or Denise, or I'm not sure who, Laura maybe. I would like to move this forward, and I don't want it to sit into December or January or anything like that. I did not have a formal resolution of any kind with all of the whereases and all of that stuff put together. But would it be sufficient for us to vote and say that we are going to submit a statement to City Council expressing our concerns, asking them to connect with city staff for additional conversations and hopefully solution? Is that sufficient, or do we need something in writing to vote on, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess to answer your question, Alex, I'm sufficient with saying that we can vote on taking action on this. And then at the next meeting, if we have something drafted, whether it's a draft of a resolution of what needs to be added within the project, or then we can go about putting that forth, I think, to the appropriate parties. But I think at this point, I would have no problem with, just voting on, drafting a resolution, but then also figuring out while we're on here right now, who wants to take that on, who wants to take that responsibility on and draft that, and who wants to set up a time to meet and get that drafted.
I have no problem taking that on. I simply did not want to go through the motion of trying to put something together really quick and then having it not be the right process. So that was my biggest concern.
Sure.
I mean, could the motion be as simple as the commission moves that this be addressed immediately? This is compliant but not best practices. Here's the example. Here's the pictures. We vote on it. I mean, I'm moving now. If that is appropriate, I would like to move that be done.
Okay.
We object.
No, I mean, I second that. All in.
Hold on.
All in favor.
Hold on before the motion gets done. I had my hand up, and this is what we usually do. Matthew does have the right idea. We usually vote to do something, and we vote to move to get this done, and we'll put a resolution together and get it through. So we don't need to necessarily, after we do this, as soon as we get the resolution, our temporary resolution in, we bring it to the commission. If there's any amendments, changes, or anything, the commission will do that.
Right. We bring it to review.
And then we send it back. So we present it, we get it done, we present it to the commission, and the commission goes over it, and then it's presented to city council.
I mean, the issue is
So that's how the procedure works.
They never moved or resolved that they're going to put in this accessible curb cuts. They just did it. And so they did it wrong. Like, can't we object with the quickness? Do we have to wait 3 more months to get something through? I'm a little surprised.
Oh no, we can object. We can do that. We just got to vote to take on this issue and to put a resolution through as soon as we can.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that we need to, in my opinion, we can take some action. Alex, you have a comment?
Yes.
I was just wondering, Denise, when are the next council meetings? Are there council meetings between now and the end of the calendar year?
Yes, there is. There's a council meeting on the 21st.
Okay. Of November?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll work with you with whatever you need done.
Yeah, Alex, and I just want to make sure that this is a unanimous decision, that we as a commission, agree to move this forward. And if all is in favor of this, then Alex, I'm happy to help you, and I'm happy to review it too if you'd like, and get it to in front of the commission. When's our next? Well, we're not meeting until when, Denise?
The 21st of December.
Right.
Okay. So
we should let Matthew complete his motion, and then we can discuss it, I would think.
Okay.
I cut him off on his motion. I'm sorry about that, Matthew, but
that's all right, Matthew. Do your motion.
No, Larry, I defer to you on parliamentary procedure. I move that the Disability Commission object to the current construction that exists at the intersection of X and Y, and that the Disability Commission finds that it is not accessible, fully accessible, and that it be remediated immediately.
And if I can, I'd further add to that motion to that we submit a resolution to the city council in behalf of changing that and making sure that doesn't happen again.
Okay.
Is that okay, Matthew?
Yes, I would. The main point here is, effective last month, every construction project needs to be vetted by the Disability Commission. This cannot be an afterthought. This is so disrespectful, and it's so systematic, and it's so structurally inequitable.
Agreed. Well, okay, so there's a move, and then Larry, did you second?
Yes.
I'll second, sure.
Okay. So all in favor of drafting a resolution for the neighborhood crosswalk design, please unmute and say yay or nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yay.
Aye.
Okay. Aye. So approved. And like I said, Alex, whatever you have drafted, just let me know, and I can help you review that. Anybody else who would like to be, involved on that project, or that resolution draft, rather, let us know and we can clue you
I'm
in.
happy to collaborate on that as well. Would
Me
love
as
to work
well.
with Alex, Larry on
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Same here. Please
Okay.
send it my way.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, Alex, as soon as whatever you need, just send it our way and let me know.
Thank you,
Can I
everybody.
ask Alex again? I think this is really important that you brought this up. Did you just happen to notice this by chance? I mean, are we dealing with other examples of this that we're not aware of at this meeting? Like, what's the scope of this? How widespread is this?
So I don't know. This was brought to me by Councilmember Briggs to get some advice with my CIL hat on. So she knew of this intersection being done. It was done recently. And I'm sure there probably are other ones. I would not be surprised.
Vice Chairman Keeler has his hand up.
Okay, Larry.
Question for you. If I did it, would you think it's appropriate if I find the appropriate section? Well, I will find the appropriate section to mention to the Transportation Commission that this is one of our concerns, because they do, the Transportation Commission does work on crosswalks, and they give us a chance toward the end to express our for each commission to express anything they've got. And if you think it's appropriate, I'll mention it in that section that we're having concerns with how crosswalks are being built, and that we want to go not only ADA coordinated, but also into best practices.
I think that's a great idea. I
Mhm.
think you're the best possible spokesperson for this, and I think it's crucially important.
And the Transportation Commission meeting is tonight, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So tonight it's up.
Thank you for offering, Larry. That's great.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, good progress, folks. Is there anything else on the discussion of the neighborhood crosswalk design at this time? Okay. Next, we have our communications, and just want to point out to all commissioners that the Commission on Disability Issues 2023 yearly meeting calendar has been released for review. Did not know if any of you had a chance to review that or had any conflicts on those dates, or are we able to just approve these meeting dates as written?
I can pull it up if you like.
Yes, that would be great, Denise.
Okay.
I had a question.
Sure.
Had we confirmed if we're staying on Zoom for next year, or is that still up in the air?
I haven't received any communication that has changed. That might change the first of the year. I'm not sure yet, but I know that I wanted to set up the times and dates so that the clerk's office and Legistar would have them for 2023. But I could definitely check into that. I mean, if the commission would like to stay virtual, then I can do that. Or if you would like to switch in person and meet in the council chambers, then let me know and I can bring that to their attention as well.
Yeah, I think it's important, Denise, just to piggyback off of that. I think it's important to really, kind of, take the temperature of the commission at this time and see, if we were to go back, are people comfortable with that? Or are we comfortable with still meeting virtually?
Hold on, I'm having difficulty sharing. I think I have too many windows open.
Okay.
Okay.
Kathleen, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to chime in and say that for now, and I've seen some head bobbing from other people, that I think Zoom meetings may be best for us, considering all the different variances that are out there on COVID-19. We don't know what's coming. Plus, I think that we have had a more, I don't know, I won't say that, but I agree. I think I would like, for myself, I prefer to stay on Zoom for a little while.
Say virtual, okay.
Sure. No problem. Alex, you have your hand up.
I would prefer to stay virtual as well, at least for the months of December, January, February, March, at the very least, so we're not competing with snowstorms and bad weather. In the future, is there any reason why we couldn't do something as a hybrid? So if folks wanted to be in the council room and some folks wanted to maybe be virtual because it worked better for their schedule or transportation or what have you, that we could do it that way? Or do we have to do all one way or all the other?
So far, it has been all one way or the other. When it comes to the other two commissions that I serve, you can have hybrid for your guest speakers and public comment. But if the commission is in person, then your attendance will only count if you're in person.
Okay.
So even if you are not there, you can call in or Zoom in, but you will not be accounted toward attendance.
Okay.
If you call in or Zoom in.
Could
All
I
right, thank
add
you.
to that? Could I add to that, Denise? Because I have an Open Meetings Act update on that. So I
Yes.
belong to another board. And if there is a board member or a commission member who has an illness that prevents them from attending the meeting in perpetuity, there is a way for them to still be a voting member by filing paperwork stating that they are not. I don't know what it encompasses. You'd have to find that out. But another board that I belong to, we have one of our members who only attends virtually and is still able to vote and be counted because of whatever paperwork he filed for that. But so there is a way to do that, but it can't be, oh, I don't want to attend next week, but I can attend, or, I can attend next month. You can't be wishy-washy.
Okay, I'll look into that for you. I'll follow up on that.
Rachel and then Matthew. You're on mute, Rachel.
Sorry. I appreciate the information, Kathleen, and I think that's definitely something I'd like for us to explore in case we do have to go back in person, because I think this has been a positive in a lot of ways for accessibility for people who might not have been able to make the meetings in person or may have had physical barriers or transportation barriers to being involved if it was an in-person thing. So I like the idea of seeing how we can go hybrid or at least have adequate and supportive accommodation for people who need to be participating by Zoom.
Yeah, I agree with you, Commissioner Hawkins. Absolutely. Matthew.
Yeah, I'm just going to state that same thing in more emphatic terms, that I think Zoom is an accessibility tool, and I think we can have actually a more robust discussion using Zoom. So I would advocate for Zoom in perpetuity. Of course, if I'm outvoted, I'll defer to the majority, but I do think it is a crucial accessibility tool that we ought to embrace rather than traipsing through who knows what to all sit in a room together, when, as far as I can tell, our discussions have been every bit as robust, if not more so. So I would advocate as an accessibility tool that we use this exclusively. And again, if I'm outvoted on this, so be it.
Well, thus far, I have set up your schedule, as you can see, for Zoom for the entire year of 2023.
Okay. Well, and Matthew, I just want you to know, I personally, I'm in support of the virtual as well, especially as Alex mentioned, during the winter months, because it can be very difficult to get to and fro. So, yeah, I'm in full support of what all of you have mentioned. Absolutely. Anybody have any conflicts with the dates listed at this time?
Do I have my hand raised?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't see it. I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Commissioner Keeler.
Oh, I thought I had it raised. I actually am going to be in the minority. I don't mind hybrids, and I do like the idea of not having
Did we lose him?
Larry? Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Okay.
Well,
I'll look for him if he comes back in.
Sure. And I do apologize. I just want to be cognizant of all of our time and all of that. So, with that being said, folks, if there's any if there's any conflicts of the dates listed, please let us know. But I would like to move to approve the 2023 meeting dates. So I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Kathleen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the meeting calendar for 2023 and keeping us virtual for the foreseeable future.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Thank you very much. That is approved. All right. So
Okay.
with that, I don't have anything else. It is 5:19. I move to adjourn. Is everyone okay with adjourning at 5:19 this evening?
I do want Larry to get his say.
Oh, of
I
course.
do want to hear from Larry.
Hold on,
the
I see him here.
counterpoint.
Okay.
Mr. Keeler?
Yeah, there, I'm unmuted. I hit something.
Okay.
I'm using a pair of headphones, which increases my speaker and my hearing ability.
Okay.
And I accidentally hit the button and it went bloop, and I went out. But I was saying that I'm looking forward. I was saying that I'm looking, two things. I was saying that I'm looking forward to eventually having these meetings, at least a hybrid meeting, because at least me, I think we lose some of the, I don't know how to put it. We lose some of the interpersonal communications in meetings, the advantage that presence gives. And I also think, and I could be strange, and I know I'm going to be outvoted, but I think that when a lot of the people on the Commission on Disability Issues are outstanding folks, and if we're showing people that we can actually get to and attend those meetings, that's a plus for some people to get them out and attending things. But that's my take on that. It's just I kind of miss the in-person meetings.
Thank you, Larry. I miss seeing you because all I see is this phone thing.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
feel you. Thank you.
And the other thing I have is just a comment. Zach, it's not District of Washington. You can say District of Columbia or DC. I'm just picking on you there.
Thank you, Larry. Yes, the
District of Washington. I just thought that was funny.
That is indeed. Sure. Thank you very much.
I'll pick on you more about that tomorrow.
Absolutely. Moving on. Is there any other discussion at this point? Or I would like to make a move to adjourn our meeting. It is now.
I second.
Okay, Larry, you second. All right. All in favor of adjourning our meeting at 5:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We are adjourned, everyone. Thank you very much for your
Everyone have a nice holiday.
Yeah.
Thank you.